So one of the important things I wanted to point out, I noticed is several of you pointed out 21st century skills that our students or or your workers need. Communication, not just sit in cubicles and just do their own part, but be able to articulate what they are thinking. This is super important when it comes to solving big challenges. Communication, collaboration, creativity, which is very, very hard. Creativity is super important when it comes to solving criminal problems and things like that. Critical thinking too. uh, Frameworks. And since there are many educators here, I want to make sure there's so many ways you can engage students. Everything from experiential learning, taking them outside the classroom, to having things inside the classroom with the collaborative learning. So of course, the challenge is, as educators, we need to stop talking less so the students can talk more. My last thought for learning framework, I teach this concept. It's called design thinking. It's 5 steps, and you can start to type questions, please. And I'm going to finish in like 2 minutes. So these are very important concepts, which goes through how do you empathize, how do you do the needs assessment, how do you actually do gap analysis, and from that you define all possible challenges that you want to address. But then you pick the challenge, the problem statement. Where most companies fail is not creating the problem statement, just solving the wrong problem sometimes. And then you ideate solutions. There's several ways you can do it. This is what I teach in my class, brainstorming strategies. You pick an idea that you want to go after, and then you prototype and test. As scientists, we are very, very inquiry based. We are always after a question. As engineers, we are always design based, which is like we are after a problem. And as engineers, we can build a small bridge and break it. But as mathematicians and as scientists, sometimes we can't break a microscope. So but we want to take the best of these two worlds: the inquiry based approach to problem solving and the design based, and then put them together to solve crime problems, for example. And I'm a big believer on don't just work on your own to solve a problem. You have to work in a multidisciplinary team. And more importantly, we need to change our philosophy of how we attempt to solve any type of problem, be it a crime problem, to go from, we tend to always go from, here is the mathematics, here is the content, let's go solve the problem. I mean, my challenge to you is to turn that philosophy to, here is the problem, let's find the mathematics to do it, let's find the physics to do it, let's find the engineering to do it. Now, try to do it that way. It's a challenge to your PhD. There's a measure of randomness here that is very, very important. And when it comes to humans and randomness, we are probably have so many things that we are good at. One thing we are not good at is at being random. Okay, so in fact, Nassim Taleb was a very famous Lebanese essayist, Lebanese American essayist, scholar, statistician, and he used to be a former risk analyst. That's a statement which summarizes everything. Randomness works well in search, sometimes better than humans. Let me explain. Suppose you ask, in fact, I can ask you all to think about 100 numbers in your head between 1 to 20. If I give you a few minutes to think about or write those numbers in your head, and this was done as an experiment, what was seen that most of us think about numbers 7 and 17 for whatever reason, okay? But we did more than the computer actually did, okay? And not only that, in fact, the study predicted that landmark numbers like 5, 10, 15, 20, we did not guess those things because they were nice for whatever reason. So on the other hand, the computers were completely random, okay, that way. We didn't have any preferential bias to numbers. I mean, like we had, computers didn't have any preferential bias. Another project that I'm not going to talk too much about, but this involves social dynamics. Again, because of a student, we were again able to go to the White House and talk to Senator Mark Warner about, she initially was disturbed by the fact that rezoning happens in Texas, and because of which she got her friends moved in schools, and they lost their, ELL or English language learner teachers, and it was a big mess at one point. And so she wanted to study social dynamics. But the beauty is we were able to expand that to a crime model involving, some South America, like Mexico, Honduras, and Guatemala, and United States, how two populations, adults and children, move away from gangs, running away from gangs, or are stolen in. And so we were able to actually expand this model to study those types of models.